YouTube. So after the last 2 days of me doing kind of depressing videos about some of the bullshit I've dealt with in my life with my father, I want to keep it a little bit lighter because frankly it's both a relief to talk about those things, but it's also kind of draining. But I'm also not really just doing it for me. I really want to do stuff like that because I like the idea of the shit I've been through that I can't change, helping someone else get through shit, because that's what YouTube always was for me. Like, everything I would watch, it was always just to either, you know, escape the shitty things I was going through at the time, because I definitely really got into YouTube when all of that kind of stuff was going on in my life. But also just, it was nice to, like, just listen to someone else who was a person talking. You know, so much of the time there are these celebrities that people idolize, and I don't relate to them because they're mostly characters most of the time. I mean, we see a little bit of their real personality on like talk shows and different things, but they're not people to us the same way that other people can be people to us, you know? And with YouTube, I always felt like people on YouTube, you know, content creators, they're very much people. Like what they share with us is so much more than just, you know, what they've created. It's also themselves, which is a big thing to me and what I want to do. But I also just want to keep it light some of the time, so this is going to be more just fun talking about stuff, videos for a while, mostly because it's, like I said, it's a lot. Okay, so today I have been rewatching a bunch of episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark, which was my favorite series growing up. I loved it. I mean, it was one of them. I always liked TV as a medium. I think the way they, like, when you break something up into episodes like that, you really can just do more with it. I think long form, which is what TV typically is pretty great. You don't have to rush anything. Like, it works better. It's more like reading a book, honestly, because things are broken up into like smaller bits, and then you get more of everything, but also just nothing is rushed. You don't feel like it's, you know, I mean, that's the biggest problem I've always had with certain movies, especially movies that were created from books. Like, it's always disappointing. There is no such thing as a movie that has done it completely right, because it's kind of impossible to take a book and put it on the big screen and have it work perfectly. And I think a lot of people went through that with like the Harry Potter films, where they were just like very frustrated because they changed a lot and they added things that weren't there to begin with, and that was frustrating for a lot of people. But I mean, we all kind of get the idea of it. But, sorry, that was gross. But, like, it's just, it works better with TV. And I've actually seen, like, books to TV, and those tend to work a lot better, although for some reason, they don't always catch on, which is frustrating, because they really should. Because with, you know, a TV series, tangent quick, what are we going to call them when TV is not really a thing anymore? Are we just going to stick with that? Are we just going to call them series? What are we going to call them? That's what I'm wondering. Just, if anyone's out there, leave a comment on what you think we should call TV shows when there's no TV anymore and it's just all on the internet, because that's going to happen. Let's be real. It is going to happen. It's already happening. Like, some of the best shows out there are not even something you'd watch on TV. They are all on the internet. But yeah. Anyway, what was I saying? Sorry. No, but, like, I don't think people have liked things that have gone from being books to TV shows, which is very frustrating because it works much better. You can do things more slowly. This is going to be very telling of some of the stuff I like to watch, but for example, Pretty Little Liars worked much better as, like, you could not have turned that into a movie. That never would have worked. It would have been crap. Some will argue that it was crap. I don't blame you. I definitely had my issues with the show, but overall I liked it a lot. But yeah, you definitely can see that it doesn't always translate as well. But it has the opportunity to with TV. That's really the point. But I've been getting back into like some older shows that I used to watch when I was younger, like Are You Afraid of the Dark, which is really cool because I've found most of it on Amazon. It's frustrating because the way they do the seasons on there, first off, it's all wrong. Like, if you actually look up on Wikipedia, which you can totally do, the series, Are You Afraid of the Dark, it'll tell you what order the episodes came out in. And if you look on Amazon, the way they have the season set up, it is not at all the same. They did not do it. For some reason, they broke it up into weird seasons, which are really just collections that they threw together in a random order, which is frustrating for me, personally, because it's like, yes, it's mostly about the episode's story, and not as much about the characters, the recurring characters, but like there is stuff going on with the recurring characters at the beginning and end of the show, and so it's kind of nice to be able to watch it all in order. Just saying. But that's not the only show. That's not the only show I've really wanted to get back into. That's a weird way to say it, because like the shows I would be getting back into would be things like The Walking Dead, which I gave up on. And oh my god, I'm gonna get hate for that, but I just couldn't. I tried to stick with it, and for some reason I just kept getting frustrated with the show. Like the first couple seasons were really fast paced, and they just kind of kept you there with everything that was going on, and it was like constant movement, it was constant action, and then there was a point that I hit that I felt like everything kind of started to stagnate, and I just lost interest because I felt like I was forcing myself to watch it, and you should never feel that way. It's supposed to be entertaining. You want to watch it. And there are shows that I watch and things that I watch that, like, I do have to sometimes force myself to watch because there's, like, a boring episode, or there is, something going on that, like, doesn't really hold my interest. But I overall like what I'm watching, and I want to get through it because I know there's better on the other side. But, like, everyone kept telling me that I would love The Walking Dead, and then I only kind of liked it. I didn't love it. And so I just kind of got to the point where I'm like, I'm done. I'm not going to keep forcing myself to try to watch it. And I felt the same way about Parks and Rec. I couldn't get through it. I could not. It should never be that hard to watch a show. And I gave that show so many fucking chances. And they're short episodes. And I would just sit there trying to get through one. And I would sit there thinking, is this funny to me? Am I enjoying this? And I wasn't enjoying it. And it was weird because I'd seen so many screen caps from the show that were funny. Like, there were funny moments in that show, but I couldn't get to them. And everyone was like, well, it doesn't pick up until, like, later, but you have to watch everything so you get the later part. And I'm like, how did that show ever last on TV if it was like that? Because there have been many a fantastic TV series that got canceled after the first season because it just wasn't good enough yet. Sorry, shaky camera. I get pissed. There was a show on TV called The Secret Circle, and I fucking loved it. I thought it was great. Me and my mom loved the first season, and then they fucking canceled it in favor of Heart of Dixie, which can suck my Dixie. I don't fucking care. I hate that. Like, I don't give a shit about that. And they canceled it over it. And the thing is, the numbers weren't necessarily absolutely shit for Secret Circle, especially for a first season. And the numbers for Heart of Dixie weren't that great either, is the interesting thing. But they chose to keep Heart of Dixie over The Secret Circle because The Secret Circle was a show about fucking magic. And magic requires CGI and other shit like that. Special effects, tons of it. And a show about whatever the fuck that other one is. Like, I don't know, is she a horse nurse? I feel like she might be a horse nurse. I've never really watched the show, but something about that is what I got from it. She might not, but that's probably totally wrong. Sorry, shaky camera again. But yeah, like, apparently that doesn't require a bunch of special effects, so that's the one they kept. And that pissed me off. And there's a whole bunch of things like that that always pissed me off. Like, I could really get into it with, like, Kyle XY. That was one of my favorite shows in high school. I loved it. And I feel like it started Yeah, it must have started right after I got into high school, because I remember going to Disney World in Florida. And this was when my parents were still together. And we went to a couple of the different parks, because at the time, the man who owned the salon my mom worked at Disney World for some reason. I never really understood that, by the way, in my own life. Like, if that seems confusing to you, how the owner of a salon also worked in Disney World, like, don't question it. I don't understand either. I don't have answers for you, frankly. But, yeah, so we went, and we were in the Animal Kingdom, and we were on a tram. And in the upper part of the tram, there were ads, and the ad for Kyle XY was there. And so my mom and I decided it looked really interesting. And so once it started up later that year, we started watching it, and we fucking loved it. And it was a great show. And there were 3 seasons of Kyle XY. And then ABC Family dumped a whole bunch of their programs. Like, they just canceled everything. And they started up with a bunch of new programs, which I literally think none of them ended up sticking. I think they had like a whole new like roster of stuff they were doing, and then none of that stuck. And then the next year they had stuff that stuck around. I think that's how that went down, because I remember like there was one, and I think it was a woman with amnesia or something, and like that did not work. But yeah, they canceled that, and that always pissed us off. I'm on rants now, sorry. But yeah, no, like I really get into TV, and whenever I get to the point where I can't find new shows that I want to watch, I always go back and try to find shows that I've already watched that I really like. Like I said, Are You Afraid of the Dark was a big one for me. Buffy's always good, like always good. There's nothing, I shouldn't say there's nothing, because obviously there's things that were very frustrating about Buffy, and they only got more frustrating with age, but overall that show is still like the best thing that's ever been on TV. Yeah. So, I don't know where I'm going with this, but that was kind of my TV rant. Like, I get really, really passionate about it because it's my favorite form of media. Like, really, really, TV. And then, I mean, obviously YouTube. But YouTube is kind of like weird TV, to be honest. It's like weird semi-reality, semi-not reality TV. It's just similar but different, you know? So it's kind of all moving in the same direction of like that kind of content that I like. I like episodic shit. I like people. I like all of that. So that's really it for tonight. I probably won't make a video tomorrow because I have to work really late tomorrow and then get up really early and work the next day. My eyes were closed for a real long time there. But, so I tried to make this video a little bit longer. I mean, most of it was longer because I was going on frickin' tirades about TV shows, but I hope everybody has a nice weekend, and I'm thinking I'll be back either Sunday night or Monday, so bye-bye.